Yes. So, is it okay? So, good evening, everyone. Um, am I audible? Like, just want to check.
Yes, yes.
One second. Um, am I, uh, Shavana, Dr. Shavana?
Yeah, Tulika.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah,
Please.
there was some problem in the network. I was not able to hear anything.
Okay.
Yes. So, today, in this like session, um, we are going to be more like an interaction. We can have it. If there is anything coming in your mind, you can, talk about it. If there is, so before we understand this topic in general, like natural um, living and natural healing, how is it important? We must understand that why there is so much that we are talking about natural healing now. Why is it that nowadays we are so much talking about let's live a natural life, lead a natural life? Um, because earlier, never ever we heard people saying, talking about natural living, right? But nowadays, it's something very commonly used, and sometimes people say, why is the need? What is the need of it? So there is no convincing answer that people have, and that's why sometimes they feel that whether it will do any good to them or not, and that is why they sometimes are not adopting it because they don't know the powers behind. They really don't know the wisdom behind what is stored in it. So so let us reflect together why this natural living is important, why we have to um, make an efforts to live a natural life. So so when you are trying to understand this natural living, we also have to see what is a nature, what is that nature giving us, which is important for human beings. So when we look at it, when we look around us, we see there is, atmosphere, there is earth surface, there are, trees around, there are animals around, there are so many things which are part of it in this ecosystem. So everything has a role to play, and every aspect in the nature has something to say to us, something to give it to us. Now, this language is something we are not yet very accustomed to, or something which many of us has forgotten, because last many decades, our whole concentration, our whole involvement has come into the field of medical field, right? Because it has done so much um, inventions, discoveries, and so much development that people have got mesmerized with this whole idea that so many people have gotten rid of many deadly diseases or many other kind of things. So people, many of mostly all of us have got really come in that um, illusion that it is the medical thing which has taken us towards health. So I am not saying what is good of medical system or what is bad of medical system. I'm just saying there is some environment which has been created by another system which has taken us away from the nature, which has really made us um, so dependent on the science that we have really forgotten that our body can self heal. Our nature has all the provisions, has all the that inherent potential, to do anything, any possible thing. But we have really forgotten, or maybe we have not completely explored the whole aspect of this divinity, or this kind of a uh, this kind of a um, this knowledge and wisdom which is stored in nature. So my humble submission to you is that let us today try to see that our existence, how it has come on this earth, how as we human beings are living on this earth, how are we surviving, how are we living on this earth, who is actually uh, is um, uh, responsible for our lives, right? And who can actually give us life. So if we can ponder over these questions, then we can get to the answers to that in a way which is more sustainable, which is more fulfilling, and which is more healthier. So natural living is something which, in nature, majority of the living organisms still do it, except human beings who has forgotten about it. But majority of the other living organisms, when just think about any animals, any mammals, any reptiles, any birds, or any big animals, wild animals, right? Anything which is there in the uh, in the in the closeness of nature, whosoever is there are aligned with nature and they're living their life so healthily. They have never got confused in anything. They are following what nature has designed them to follow. And that's what they are, how they are leading their lives. So no other living organisms except human beings die of disease. Those who are in the close alignment with nature, no one dies with disease. They die with natural deaths. Or if they're, the vitality is over, so it's a usual death. So death is not something that we have always assumed that it is always, someone very much suffering from it. And there is always something very negative about it that we have been listening, right? That so much of suffering, disease, and so much of pain and agony, a patient suffers, and then they, most of the days of their lives and in their end times, they are, living their life on bed, like almost bedridden. तो उस चीज को हमें ये समझना होगा कि ये ऐसा चेंज क्यों आ गया, और ये चेंज जो है कौन लेके आ रहा है. हम जितने भी, वी ऑल ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, वी हैव समथिंग कॉल्ड एज वांट्स, डिजायर्स, राइट? एंड वी आर ऑलवेज लुकिंग फॉर समथिंग फॉर आवरसेल्व्स. वी आर सो सेल्फ सेंट्रिक by nature, right? So we always want comfort and every kind of an attributes which are very much closer to human nature. And other nature also is there, like love, gratitude, kindness is also an attribute of human beings. So if we see a human being in its totality, so it has many attributes. That's why we call that mind is there, this brain is there, this heart is there, which actually has created a world which is so beautiful, which is so something that we can relate to each other. There is so much of togetherness that is there, right? So, and nowadays there are so much of being talked about, and I think consciously positive is something which is doing that thing in that real aspect to it since many years. Because if we understand our true nature of being a human being, then we are actually getting closer to our own inner self. And in a similar way, if we are also understanding why is our existence there on this earth, like who are we as, an individual, and how our body is leading, uh, for the things that how we are doing it. So we will get those answers to that. So in this way, if we see that natural living nowadays, it's a fashion, people talk about it at many, many levels. Okay, come back to nature, adopt natural methods. All this has become like a taglines. But why to make a tagline which is, in a way is our own reality? It's just that we have forgotten about it. So, how can we connect ourselves back to nature? How can we make our living more natural, right? Because something which is natural is something which is near to God, near to whom we actually belong to, where actually we belong to. So, these five elements of nature, Panchabhutas, are the attributes which are completely nature based, nature oriented, which is ether, air, sunlight, water, and earth. Now, while I'm saying these five elements, if you can imagine, is these elements costly? Is these elements something which one can, or only certain section of the people can have it and certain section of the people cannot have it? Is these elements create some kind of inequalities for people to access it or to afford it or to have it? The answer is no, because nature has given these five elements to everyone and everywhere. Any place without these five elements is not possible. So our own body is also made of these five elements. If these five elements, one of it is also missing in our body, we cannot live, you know, we cannot live. There is no life in that body. So that is why we say that natural living is so, so very much important, because our body knows the nature clock. Our body knows the natural healing systems, that already is being given to us by nature. Our body knows everything. Our body has a lot of wisdom which no science can have. If you see that any science, any medical understanding and knowledge, if you go to any doctor or any medical people and you just tell them, okay, I am having this system, what needs to be done? They would say, okay, let's have test and see what is going on, because they also don't know. So no one knows what's going on inside the body. Everyone waits for it, wait for the body to respond. If someone has a hand fracture or any kind of fracture, or if someone has a swollen organ in the body or any inflammation in the body, it heals on its own. It takes its own sweet time to heal, right? Any kind of a thing which are there in the body, for example, arthritis, right? In the medical world, they say there is no cure for arthritis. But in natural healing system, this is not what we say. We say that our body can heal in itself, provided we give the right input, we give the right environment, and we do right actions. When we do these three things, we can heal our body from anything. You name any disease can be healed easily. So there are many diseases, we don't go into that because we know, we here is nature cure practitioners. They believe that uh, there are different names to diseases, but the major cause of all the disease is toxemia. The toxins which are stored inside the body, which are accumulated inside the body, and the body is not able to eliminate. through various systems and the elimination is not proper, then there are problems in the body, which is termed as diseases. So disease, in one of the natural hygienist Louis Kuhn, he has said disease is a friend, right? And if I say disease is a friend, it is considered as a very radical statement, because everyone is afraid of disease. Everyone wants to do away with disease. But disease is just the dis-ease of the body at that moment. Sometimes that moment is shorter, sometimes it goes on for months and years, because body is trying to communicate, you know, the human being through pain, through other symptoms. And if we are not understanding that kind of a language, then what do? We will just take a pill to stop that language, to stop those symptoms. And when those systems are stopped, temporarily we feel better. Temporarily, the body has no pains, no fever, no other systems. But does that mean that problem is over? Does that mean that there is no cause inside and you will not get any other problems in the future? No. Because in the initial phase of your life, when you're young, your body has more vitality to fight for disease, fight for this kind of ailments, or this kind of a thing which comes in the body, which we call as disease. But as we grow older, our vitality also goes down. Then the symptoms doesn't come that fierce, that काफी strongly नहीं आते हैं वो symptoms. Then we think, okay, nothing is happening to us, it's fine. And then, suddenly some symptoms comes up in a very big way. And then we rush to the doctor and we say, okay, something is very problematic come, and then they prescribe something even bigger. But if we change our lifestyle, if we align ourselves to a natural, healthy lifestyle, then it is never the case like that. Our body, because we are living in cities now, pollution is also going to start, and in few days it's going to be full of smoke and smog and other kinds of the air quality will be affected. So people will have problems in terms of respiratory problems and other kind of skin diseases, eye problems. So many things will come up. People will rush towards the doctors, to cure those symptoms. But if we see that, there are certain conditions to that, if we really change our lifestyle by changing our food pattern, by aligning ourselves to the nature's clock of sleep, by doing, the exercise in a manner which is fruitful, meaningful, right? And also that we are completely resting ourselves, those moments, mentally resting. Also, we are physiologically resting and also physically resting. So when we take care of all these elements in a way, which supports the body's way of working and functioning, then there are no disease. Even if the disease comes, body is able to throw out the toxins, and in no time the person feels better, and they really feel that there is nothing to that, and they are back to normal and back to their own routine lives. But more and more we are procrastinating, more and more we are not understanding the real importance of nature, real importance of natural living. We are just delaying ourselves in understanding the magic that natural living can create. So something which we feel it is more quick, like taking a pill, we think that it is quick, but it has uh, long term effects, negative effects on our body. They say there are side effects. If you read any medicines, the side effects are completely mentioned over there. And people know it, that there are side effects, and still they go for it. because their trust has developed on medical systems so much so that they are ignoring all these side effects, thinking that it is not now, it may come in the future, or even if it is there, it is not that important to actually right now focus on it. First, what we have to focus is upon removing our pain or just getting rid of this pain. So our focus only goes towards pain reduction or just going away with fever. Now, if I ask any one of you why you want to go away with fever so soon or pain, they say our work suffers. We mentally suffer. We don't feel good in that condition and situation. So, yes, that is true. In pain, no one feels better. But if we understand that pain is a way of body communicating to you, then you will not feel that way. The way we feel when we are told that, there's some problem. And there are so many measures that one can take, aligning to the nature. And there is a natural healing system. There's so much that one can, um, adopt to it. One can look into it. One can practice, that one can with little small changes, there are so much changes that you will see in your health. Sleeping on time is one such thing that you will get up fresh in the morning. Getting up early in the morning before sunrise is another a good practice, natural practice that one can do. Then aligning yourself with the seasonal foods, the natural foods which are prevalent, rather than going to the packaged and processed food, is again health giving. So all these small things we all know, but what we don't know is that what it does to our body, and what is it that we are giving to our body in by providing these things. We actually do not know those kind of a whys. So when we understand this why, then the journey becomes very, very fruitful and very, very easy for us. Now, if I say why natural living is important, so I have few points that I can share it with you, right? Maybe no need to get in detail, but at least you can hear it out for yourself. That when we have a natural living for ourselves, we are self-dependent. We are dependent on our body. We are not dependent on any other systems to heal ourselves. So this is, anyone who is self-dependent is more powerful in a way and more confident. But if you're dependent on someone, it brings a lot of suffering sometimes, right? So we have this system will make you more self-dependent, right? Then it is based on plant food. So plant food has a lot of life in it. It has water, life, and fiber. Now, anything which has these three elements is something which is more, because it's a living thing, right? And our body is a living matter. So anything we provide ourselves which is living in nature is always more health enhancing. So we have to choose the food in such a way that we are taking more of living food than any kind of a dead food. So because in the food which are more processed, packaged, or any other kind of a food, which is kind of a dead food, we do not get those nutrients, because it's already not there, or it has been removed in that process. So what it can give it to us? It only gives something to our mind. We feel satisfied. We feel, okay, our cravings are met. Yes, you can have those cravings met sometimes, a few times. But as a habit, on a day-to-day basis, you won't feel good if your cells are made from those dead food items. Rather, if your cells, you want healthier cells, you have to choose food which are more living food. Now, this system is non-violent system. In this system, there is no uh, uh, sudden violence is being given to anyone or something. It's very, very cordial. Like if you take sunlight, if you take air element through pranayama, if you do fasting, in a proper manner, if you take water in hydrotherapies and taking plant-based food, these all things are very, very non-violent. There is, in this process, the person doesn't feel agitated, angry, irritated. What it does to the patient or to the people is it relaxes the body, it relaxes the mind, the body becomes and feels lighter. So this is something which gives health to the people later on. Then this system is based on total approach. Now, how so in medical system, when we go to some person, so we choose a doctor based on the problem we have. If we have a gastric problem, we will go to a gastroenterologist. If you have a skin problem, we'll go to a dermatologist. If we have another ear infection, we'll go to ENT and so on. But if you have any diseases, you nature cure person or someone who has learned this thing can handle any kind of a thing on their own by understanding the nature cure principles, by understanding how it functions, how it is, how the body functions, how we must align ourselves with nature in terms of habit change, in terms of lifestyle change, so that we can lead a healthy and happy life. So these things we don't have to, compartmentalize ourselves for anything, because body is a total one system. It doesn't mean that our eyes will function differently, our nose will function differently, and our hands are function differently. Maybe we have pains at certain places in the body, but everything works together. So that's why it's a total approach. So something, if we see in its totality, is more problem solving, right? It is more something, it will give you more understanding to the real problem rather than just sticking to certain things in parts. Now, another thing, so this system also works in purity, purity in way of like there is nothing that we mixed it up, right? If we are talking about nature, then it is only nature principles that we will follow, the nature cure. So there is nothing that will be mixed or something, so in its purest form you can understand this philosophy, that there is air element, there is a earth element, there is water element, there is ether element, what it does to the body, right? And how it functions, together to make our own body and to heal ourselves, to heal our body. So this kind of a, because our body is a unit, right? And there are principles of unity in this nature cure, which says all diseases are one. Treatment of so before treatment, all the causes of all diseases are one. Then treatment of all diseases are one. Health and disease is one, right? So we are saying there is no concept of disease. Health and disease is one, because when you have any disease, actually body is working towards health now. So there is nothing called as a negative concept called as disease in natural healing system. So, uh, the basically what we have to understand, why are we doing, or why are we saying that adopt natural living? Once we understand this, then only we can adopt to natural healing system. So I would like to hear from you all, if you have any questions or anything coming in your mind that you want to share.
Yes, Tulika ji. क्वेश्चन है कि जब डॉक्टर्स को दिखाना, रेगुलर मेडिकल चेकअप में जाना, तो जब वो बताते हैं कुछ तो कैच 22 हो जाता है, क्योंकि स्पेशली ओवरसीज तो कोई कंसेप्ट ही नहीं है नेचुरोपैथी का, वो मेडिसिन से ही करते हैं। आपकी एक एक वर्ड से मैं सहमत हूँ, लेकिन कैच 22 में चले जाते हैं। अब वो डॉक्टर बोल रहा है हाई कोलेस्ट्रॉल है, ये है, ट्राइग्लिसराइड्स हाई है। हमें पता है यहाँ तो रूट कॉज को बोलते भी नहीं है कि रूट कॉज को दूर करो, दवाइयों पे दवाइयाँ।
या
लेकिन कैच 22 होता है कि लें कि ना लें। 5-7 साल हम लोगों ने कहा नहीं लेते, स्टैटिन है, ये है। लेकिन जब रिजल्ट ही ठीक नहीं हो रहे, तो वो बोलते हैं जेनेटिक भी हो सकता है। तो कई बार लाइक वी आर इन कैच 22 सिचुएशन, दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट टू शेयर।
नहीं, सो कोई चीज़ ठीक तब नहीं होती है जब हमने अपने लाइफस्टाइल को चेंज ही नहीं किया और दवाई भी नहीं ले रहे ना। इसलिए डॉक्टर्स कहते हैं आप खाओ कुछ भी, पर दवाई लेते रहो। तो हम ये नहीं कह रहे कि आप अपने जो क्रेविंग्स हैं उसको ना खाओ या करो, बट उसको ऐसे करो जो कि आपको लिमिट में रहे, आपकी बॉडी को नुकसान ना पहुंचे। बॉडी को जो चाहिए, शरीर को जो चाहिए वो उसको मिले। शरीर को न्यूट्रिएंट्स चाहिए, मिनरल्स चाहिए, विटामिन्स चाहिए। वो हम पिल्स के थ्रू दे रहे हैं, खाने के थ्रू ले ही नहीं रहे हैं हम। खाने खाने में सब कुछ है। Food is the medicine. Food is the only medicine in nature cure system. Through food only we cure. And food is not only earth food. Food is also the other four kinds of food which I just mentioned: ether, air, sunlight, and water. So, so what kind of food is needed at what time is the study, राइट? सो डॉक्टर्स जब बोलते हैं कि बड़े बड़े नाम ले लेते, तो एकदम से इंसान घबरा ही जाएगा, पेशेंट घबरा ही जाएगा, उसको लगेगा कैसे भी करो ठीक करो। हाँ, लेकिन अगर आप इसके जड़ में जाएं और सोचें कि क्या है। मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ। अभी around 10 days back, one of my friend called me and she was just sharing, we are close friends, so she was just sharing कि मेरे हस्बैंड को अभी मैं डॉक्टर के पास लेके जा रही हूँ और नागपुर में उनको चेस्ट में बहुत पेन हो रहा है। मैंने कहा ठीक है, ओके। So then that evening when I had a talk with her, I said what happened? She said उनके चेस्ट में बहुत दिनों से 3-4 दिन से बार बार पेन उठ रहा है और उनको ट्रैवल करना है, एंड डॉक्टर्स ने बहुत सारे टेस्ट करने के लिए दिए हैं, हमने करवा लिए हैं और हमें कल रिपोर्ट्स मिलेंगी एंड देन विल सी कि क्या कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है, किसी तरह की ब्लॉकेज या कुछ एंड ऑल दैट। फाइन। सो नेक्स्ट डे दे वेंट। डॉक्टर सेड कि नहीं, इट लुक्स फाइन बट वी हैव टू अंडरगो सम अदर टेस्ट ऑल्सो बिकॉज पता नहीं चल रहा है कि क्या है, राइट? And at that time I happened to call her and I was talking to her and she was saying कि लगता है इनका ट्रिप कैंसिल होगा। ट्रिप was after 3 days, business trip, हाँ। एंड देन शी ऑल्सो सेड दैट उनका पेन जो है इतना तेज आता है कि उनके पसीने छूट जाते हैं और वो बहुत ज़्यादा पेन में है और कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या करें। दवाइयाँ खा रहे हैं, थोड़ी देर असर करती है, नहीं हो रहा है। सो दिस इज द condition of that person. So I suggested her few things. That evening when I was talking to her, that very evening, and after 2 days, he felt so better that he went for his business trip. And then she called me and she said, अगर आप तुमने नहीं बताया होता, हम डॉक्टर्स के चक्कर लगाते रहते, हमारा ट्रिप भी नहीं होता, हमारी सारी चीज़ें जो हैं वैसी ही रहती। तो मैंने उसको बोला इसमें इट्स ओनली अबाउट अ लाइफस्टाइल चेंज, इट्स ओनली अबाउट doing the right thing for the body, because body understand a certain kind of language, certain kind of a treatment that it understands very quickly, but for other things it will adjust to it, but वो उसके लिए फायदेमंद है कि नहीं फायदेमंद है ये हमें देखना पड़ेगा। तो
So
ये
what was the issue like, and what did you suggested? So if you can just give us an example so that we understand it better.
what I told, I spoke to the husband also that time. And when I said, because he was saying that pain was at the back and that pain was transmitting at the heart, towards the heart. And then it was becoming like a huge pain. So something which is moving inside is gastric, right? It was simple case of gastric. But this gastric problem was something has become to an alarming state because uh, it was trapped inside and it was not seeing any route to come out outside the body. So I suggested, them to take a route, to the elimination has to happen. So I suggested few things so that elimination could happen properly. So once the elimination was restored by the body, and I have put him on a certain diet for about 1 day only on coconut water, and then afterwards completely, raw. And after that, little bit things that I've increased. So in 2.5 days, he was all fine, and then he went for his this thing, and there was no pain at all. So from 100%, in the after 2 days, it came around just 5%. They told me, and then like after a week's time, you know he'll be returning today and everything is fine. But his wife told me, who's my friend also, uh, she said, Tulika, one of the times just 2 3 days back, I was calling him and he was not picking up the phone, and my brother told he has started to eat uttapam again. And he has eaten some other things also, because now he was feeling better, so he got that craving and he ate that, right? So the point is this, that it's a journey, so someone can come in this system only to heal for certain times, but then body will again come back after some time in that state. So we have to understand and align ourselves in such a way that um, that it doesn't harm, the lifestyle which we are having doesn't harm our body, because body is the only greatest asset we have. With this body only that we are doing all the work, all the productive work. So if it is fine, healthy, everything we can do, we can we can win the world, we can make everyone happy around. But if we are not happy from our body and mentally happy, nothing that we can do. So I feel that we have to educate ourselves and understand that how we can bit by bit come to this lifestyle. Simple things that we can do, start doing it for natural living. Getting up on time, and then taking sun. If there is a pain or something, just put a wet pack on that painful area. Why to take a medicine for that? huh? And doing exercise, doing a lot of physical movement, body needs that. And then eating right kind of food, uh, raw kind of food, because raw food has all the nutrients intact in its natural state. Whether it is water, whether it is nutrients, minerals, everything is intact in raw food, fruits and vegetables. So if we can have that in its truest form, in its purest form, then no diseases can happen to us. Body is at ease all the time, and we can have food very slowly, always, not hurrying. So my mentor, Dr. Arun Sharma, he always says three things are not good: hurry, worry, curry. So if we are doing, eating like people are grabbing the food, and quickly having the food in the car, or just running and just having it quickly because they have to go to work, that's not good for the body. Body takes time to digest, and in the digestion process starts from mouth. So the more we chew the food, the more we help in the digestion process, and the more our mind is calm, the digestion is more better. And the mother of all disease is, all the diseases is indigestion. When the body is not able to digest the food that is being sent to the body, then it starts to show up in different forms. And if our mind is not relaxed, for those people, the problem is even more greater. Right? So, yeah. Any other questions?
Awesome. So I think gradually, oh, we have to, sorry, it got,
Okay, Tulika, Dr. Tulika, good evening, and it was a very educational talk. So myself as a trainer, I do natural healing, but I go through laughter yoga. I do bhajans. I do bhajans. I do prayers. I do kirtan, and I do hypnosis. But with with my age, I still experience hormonal changes, and I'm still on hormone pills. And mainly it's not the hormones. Mainly it's my allergies. Like with the cerebral palsy condition, I do experience nasal pharyngitis. So every day I try not to take, except supplements. I try not, I've cut down my Panadols and everything. Um, with, 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 with hypnosis, period has come back, although very little, but period has come back. And with laughter, it makes a whole way of difference. So, what is your opinion on breathing problems? How do we overcome that?
Breathing problems, you said?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so for breathing problems, also slowly we have to work on the way we breathe because most of the times we are not breathing correct. There is a shallow breathing which has started to happen.
Yes.
So,
Especially for myself. Born premature. I mean, like at my age, it's already 30 plus. I mean, like.
it's nothing. You are young.
Mhm.
You are
So
young. So, you can practice pranayama.
yes,
You
yes,
can,
yes.
and the point is, I don't know, whether you are following the natural foods also or not.
The
Whether
foods,
you
yeah,
are,
vegetables.
hmm,
Yeah,
yes.
I try to eat whatever is given on the table, especially except when it's spicy.
Do you eat raw salad without any dressing and salt?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do?
I do.
Okay, great. So that is very, very much essential. So you keep on doing that. Do some physical exercise. As I see, you have to do a little bit whatever. Like even if while sitting also you can do movements, right? So those physical exercise movement has to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, these things require a detailed conversation because every person is different, every person's needs are different. So, accordingly, we see. But if you adopt an overall thing, which I've just mentioned, it will give you much more relaxation in terms of
Basically, basically, I also adopt you know, that singing, dancing, playing, and laughing.
very good, very good. Those all three.
But when I lie down, the mind is the monkey mind. You can't, even if it's not your problem, it suddenly becomes your problem because you are also living in the same house, and the people living around you have to be positive. And yeah.
Yeah, so people are people. They never can change, right? Only one
so
who changes
so
yourself.
how do you yeah, breathing problem is one. The other thing is the rapid heartbeat. Although I sometimes I let go. Sometimes my heart pressure is a bit low. How do you overcome that?
I would suggest that, if you want, you can take a proper consultation with Dr. Arun Sharma or anyone. Like we can get you, have that consultation because it requires the proper study of your lifestyle, how you're leading your day, because there are more to it. There is something which is not right. That's why body is doing everything in favor of you, but because we are intellectuals, so we want
Yeah.
to understand everything, we want to interpret everything, right? And our everything interpretation is coming from our own understanding, known world, but body is doing the right thing for you at this point in time.
Yes,
You know,
it's doing very, very.
to breathe, right? If there a breathing shortness of breath is happening, so it is allowing you by raising it to make you breathe properly. At least this air should come in, right? So I don't know what's happening in that sense, but yes, if you continue on this path for a longer time and change your lifestyle, align yourself in a better way, then anything can be resolved by your own body because it has a lot of wisdom.
So let it let so I've cut down my, I've cut down my drugs, I've cut down my
Yeah.
anti-anxiety, and you were saying let it heal by itself through hypnosis and
So I
meditation.
don't know about that system, so I can't comment on it, what it does. But in our system, we work on these five elements. We work on the overall health of an individual, physical, mental, and spiritual health, where they are coming from, and then actually suggest things to them. It's only lifestyle thing. We never say, okay, if you have this problem, okay, take this remedy or take this thing, and then you are okay. It's the work in a total way, in a holistic way.
Holistic, yes.
It's a total approach system.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Shabana.
Umaji, do you have any question?
There is some question in the chat box here.
Oh, I joined late. I'm so sorry. I just saw it's Tulika, and I quickly joined, but I'm so sorry. Tulika actually had gone out and got stuck in the traffic.
No
It's
problem.
very bad at the moment on the roads in Delhi.
You can listen to the recording, and if you have any question, you can post it in the group. I can.
Yeah, what do you suggest? Because in Delhi now we're going to be heading towards a very polluted air.
Yeah,
What do you suggest, please? How do we
Already,
handle? And everybody is getting sick. I mean, I've got a sore throat. Somebody has got a nose flowing, and it's viral in the air.
yeah.
How do you stay well?
Yes, that is true. Even I got affected by it for many days, and then still my throat is not yet, you know, completely healed that way. So the only answer to this is that eat more natural foods, and eat only when you're hungry. Sometimes we're not hungry and we are eating food just for the sake of it, just because as a routine we always have it. So some days when it is very, very much polluted or something, why to have so much of food? Why to have so much of food? And also that something that we,
Sorry, the food overloads the system, and
yes,
then they can't protect the cells, can't protect us.
yes,
Is that what it is?
no, so how I understood this thing is that when we eat something light, something that body needs, so that food nourishes us, what our body needs. So when that nourishment is coming, that minerals, vitamins, and those needed nutrients are coming to body, so body gets that needed strength to work for something coming against you inside you, inside in the way of toxins, right? And when we eat less, obviously body can really eliminate and digest in a faster way. So if we are eating more heavy foods, fried items, it can do its job, but then again we eat after 3 hours, again we eat it, the process is still not complete, again we have given something to the body. So after 2 3 days in that polluted environment, the people start to have this cold and cough and everything. We only have created that. If already the environment is polluted, why to put so much of things inside the body? And it's a extra work of the body to do this task also, and then filter, things are coming. So we have to make it simple things for ourselves. And then there are other measures also, that whenever there is a sunlight, definitely go in the sunlight. Possibly just do once in a week fasting till 4 o'clock, half a day fasting. It's very, very good. The body is able to complete the process, and then we feel
So
better.
when you fast, you don't have anything at all?
No, only water if you want to have it, if you feel
And
thirsty.
coconut water?
Water is food. It's a complete food.
Water is food.
Coconut water, you said, no?
Ah, yeah. So you can't have coconut water.
Fasting means water fasting.
What if you are on medication of any kind?
That's what I'm saying. If you mix medical system with this, it can be very dangerous, because in our system we are trying to eliminate the toxins out of the body, by different ways, by maybe pranayama, by maybe water therapies, or by fasting, whatever. But medical systems is suppressing the system symptoms, so everything remains in the body. So at that moment, for many years, people don't feel any pain, no problems at all, because their system works on a different philosophy. So the first criteria to adopt, the healing thing, natural healing, is to stop all the medications before you come into this. In fasting, if you will take medicines, it can be dangerous. Don't do that. But I'm saying, there is a lifestyle change that everybody should do it. But if you want to come in this system for healing, then no medications, because those two systems are very different systems, working on a very different principles.
Okay.
Anything else that you want to ask or clarify?
Yeah, any particular foods? You said natural foods. So any particular food you think that might be better for this, just to build up your immunity? Any nuts or food or whatever?
Hmm. So anything which is in the season, eat that. The fruits which are there in the season, the vegetables that are there in the season, nature tells you the whole story. Nature is your teacher. You have to just follow what your teacher tells you, not what advertisements or the industry or the other kind of a people are bringing to you. Certain things are available all the times. If we go back to a nani dadi's time, at that time things were so different. They always used to follow the seasonal rules, the natural rules. They were never ever saying कि natural living करते हैं, natural healing करते हैं. वो कर ही वो रहे होते थे. अब हमें बोलना पड़ रहा है क्योंकि हम भूल चुके हैं. तो अगर हम इस चीज़ों से अलाइंड कर लें कि नेचर इस समय क्या ऑफर कर रही है और उसको हम लें. अब जैसे विंटर्स आ जाते हैं, सनसेट जल्दी हो जाता है. तो सनसेट जल्दी होने का मतलब क्या है कि हम सो जाएं जल्दी, रेस्ट ज़्यादा करें. विंटर्स टेल्स दैट यू रेस्ट मोर, ईट लेस. बट हमारे आज के सिस्टम में क्या होता है, ठंड का मतलब है खूब खाओ खूब खाओ, और शाम को घर में बैठे हैं तो लाइट्स हैं, तो टीवी है, मीडिया है, सोशल मीडिया है. तो उस वजह से क्या होता है कि प्रॉब्लम ज़्यादा हो जाती हैं. और वो प्रॉब्लम चेंज ऑफ सीजन में, जैसे ही वार्मथ आती है, हॉट आता है वेदर, उस समय पे वो एकदम बॉडी एलिमिनेट करना शुरू करती है. तो व्हाट इट विल एलिमिनेट क्या करेगी अंदर? जो आपने खाया. अगर आपने ऐसा चीज़ खाया जो कि बॉडी के लिए यूज़फुल था, आपको प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी, क्राइसिस नहीं होगा. लेकिन आपने ऐसी चीज़ें खाई जो हानिकारक हैं बॉडी के लिए, बहुत प्रोसेस्ड हैं, बहुत ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो बहुत समय लगाती हैं, तो जब वो एलिमिनेट करेगी तो आपको क्राइसिस फील होगा, कोल्ड होगा, कॉफ होगा, फीवर होगा. तो ये चीज़ें होंगी. तब हम उसको सोचते हैं कि हम बीमार हो गए और हमें उसको तुरंत रोकना है. तो उस समय रोकने के सेंस में अगेन हम उसको सप्रेस कर देते हैं. इन सम टाइम्स पीपल, आफ्टर सम टाइम्स स्टार्ट्स टू हैव अ क्रॉनिक प्रॉब्लम्स. जो चीज़ें एक्यूट प्रॉब्लम्स में पहले हो जाती, कई लोग कहते हैं हमें कभी भी सर्दी जुकाम बुखार होता ही नहीं है, हमें कभी हुआ ही नहीं, बस हमें एक डायबिटीज़ है. तो वो सही इंडिकेशन नहीं है. जिनको सर्दी जुकाम बुखार होता है उनकी बॉडी आज भी बहुत स्ट्रेंथ में है कि वो टॉक्सिन्स बाहर फेंक रही है। जिनकी बॉडी ये नहीं कर रही है, अब उनकी स्ट्रेंथ थोड़ी सी कम हो गई है, एंड दे आर फेसिंग दिस काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम लेटर ऑन इन देयर लाइफ्स। तो जैसे मैंने किताबें पढ़ी हैं, जितना मैंने अंडरस्टैंड किया है, नेचर क्योर प्रैक्टिशनर्स, दे रिजॉइस व्हेन फीवर कम्स। They feel happy that there is cold, cough, fever, and anything of this acute conditions in the body, because they feel now body will get rid of it, and in 2-3 day times my body is cleansed and I'm properly fine. And they always go for fasting and then do other kinds of natural foods and everything later on. So that ways they bring back their health in no time. But it takes time, to educate yourself. More you educate yourself, more you will be firm in this belief system, in this in this wisdom of nature. How I was 7 years before and how I am today is totally different person, right? I'm really very firm in this philosophy because I believe I've seen people getting benefited out of it, myself, my family getting benefited out of it. So that confidence has come from being in this journey for since so long. So it's about walking this path. So have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you. But why this weather brings so much? Is it change of season? What's happening?
No, it's pollution, no? A lot of pollution is there, smoke is there, dust is there, and so much of particulate matters are there, solid particles, and when it goes into our nose, body tries to throw it off. So we feel cold and cough and all that. So pollution is the problem. And for people, if they take good, clean air, pure air, fresh air, that is a 50% job done for their health. So, so that's why we say, that's why there are so much of, things are going on, for planting trees and, not, so there's so many things. Like, it's one of the reason is okay, bursting crackers. There are people, farmers who are burning the fodder, right? There are other situations also which remains the same, right? So we have to look into everything, and then we have to see at an individual level what we can do. And what we can do is what we eat, what we give to our body in those times is very, very important, right? So yes, these all tiniest things, that can lead to, because this topic, what you are saying is a full big topic. I cannot bring in just one question, but overall thing, I would say lifestyle change, because we also are there. I also am there in this. When there is a lot of smog outside, I don't go out for my exercise that time. When the sun is outside, then I will go, and then I will do my things and eat very mindfully in those days. So all these things you have to be very mindful and careful.
Okay, thank you, Tulika.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Tulika. It's already 9, so we are over 1 hour. And Navinji, I will share Tulika's number with you if Tulika is okay. Navinji wants to contact with you. Yeah, so I'll share the number. So thank you, Tulika. Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and listening. It's an evening time and you all have come. So thank you so much.
thank you. And see you all tomorrow.